Everybody, welcome back to coverage of Grand Prix Philadelphia. This is still technically the day one in the sense that it's the calendar day, although we're actually moved over into day two. The cut to day two has already happened. Return to Ravnica Seal Deck. My name is Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Ben Schwartz, and we are taking a look at a sweet feature match here between Yuya Watanabe on the left side of your screen. There he is, reigning Player of the Year. He's won it twice. And Alexander Hayne, there he is right there. Team Canada, he's gotten second in a limited GP in his career, and he's also won a Pro Tour.
Yep. Pro Tour Avicen Restored in Barcelona. And looks like Alex will start things off with an island and a Golgari Guildgate for Yuya.
Double island for Alexander Hayne. Now, we have seen Hayne's deck.
Oh, and
on
Pack
camera.
Rat.
And Pack Rat on turn two. It does not get syncopated. It resolves. And Alexander Hayne has. He has
Goblin
an immediate-
Electromancer.
Wow. Now, do you think that he should have waited? He's got an Izzet Staticaster in hand. He can wait until his opponent activates the. No, that would do it. Never mind. He would still get the 1/1 out of the deal, and it would be a copy. So no point in waiting. Immediately plays it, kills the Pack Rat. That's one of the few ways to do it. Although with 3 mana, it opens it up to quite a few different ways. The fact that
Yuya just went for it was.
Yeah, but he just ran it out there. You know, you were telling me earlier that he won an entire game after having resolved
only one spell.
Just the Pack Rat.
Yeah.
So it looks like he was going for it again. It turns out that Alexander Hayne did have the answer this time with an Izzet Staticaster. He's certainly relieved to do that. And Yuya plays out Centaur's Herald, and Alexander decides to ping it, forcing Yuya to actually use up the mana right now and make a Centaur.
So Alexander Hayne has the Staticaster and the Rakdos Cackler. Cackler.
Yep, Cackler. And it looks like Yuya's just going to trade it off for the Drudge Beetle. If he would have blocked with the Centaur, Alexander Hayne could just finish it off with the Staticaster anyway.
That Staticaster looks pretty good in Alexander Hayne's deck against Yuya's deck.
It does indeed. Alex plays a Rakdos Key Rune, passes the turn. Yuya bashes in with his Centaur, plays his 5th land, and what does he have? Oh, a 4-drop. And it looks like that is Growing Ranks. So what that's going to do is during his upkeep, and you can see him put a little reminder on his deck, on top of his deck there, so that during his upkeep he gets his free Centaur.
Yeah.
That is going to be really tough. Alexander Hayne's deck, it is looking like Grixis colors. It just cannot kill a Growing Ranks. Doesn't have the.
Well, Annihilating Fire can take out the Centaur token before Growing Ranks gets online to be able to populate every turn.
So now it's a question of, can Yuya Watanabe find a token that he can populate that has a toughness greater than 1? It can't be an Eyes in the Skies. The Staticaster just kills that.
I see a Vraska in Yuya's hand. What does that one do?
Whoa!
That makes tokens you can populate.
It does eventually make tokens, although they're not very good against the Staticaster. So Yuya says, you know what, we've got an open board. I'm going to just go ahead and take out the Staticaster, although that does. Alexander needs a black mana to activate that key rune. So right now, as the board sits, Vraska is sitting quite nice. That's 6 mana, and it's going to be a Rixmati Guildmage. That does not have haste, and a Cobbled Root doesn't either. So Vraska is going to get to untap, and
well, Yuya's going to put Growing Ranks on the stack here, and he's going to cast Eyes in the Sky to be able to populate for a 3rd bird.
Ah, beautiful. So that also explains why he was in such a hurry to get rid of the Staticaster there.
Yep.
He had that Eyes in the Skies in his hand. All right, so he does get the 3rd bird. They all have Summoning Sickness. He's going to plus Vraska. That gives her essentially Death Touch. Anything that deals damage to her will die. It's like even better than Death Touch. But
just 2 amazingly powerful cards played by Yuya. First Pack Rat, second Vraska. I mean, it's no wonder that he's 9-0.
Yeah.
Alexander Hayne takes a look at Vraska, understand every ability.
He could, attack Vraska. I mean, he does have attacks here. He still only has the 1 black mana, so he can only activate his Guildmage once. He says, you know what? Heck with Vraska. I'm just going to attack you with both of these.
If it's attacking Yuya, if I were Yuya, I would just consider taking the 7, right?
Definitely, it's worth a consideration. He does want to get that Cobbled Root off the table, but he's going to have to put all 3 birds in front if he wants to do that, and that's going to turn off Growing Ranks for him. You got to figure that at least part of his long-term game plan is to keep using Growing Ranks. All right, he's more concerned with the Guildmage, so he triple blocks it. So it looks like there's going to be a trade there, all 3 tokens.
Unless Alexander Hayne has another removal spell. Still kind of a 1-for-1 because you only spent 1 card to get all those birds, but.
Now, Yuya can also have a combat trick here, but he doesn't, and they just trade off. And Yuya does take 5 in the exchange here, dropping him down to 15.
Oh, and Selesnya Charm.
And a Selesnya Charm is going to put a 2/2 Knight on the table. So Yuya just seems to have an endless stream of tokens here. He's produced them with 3 different cards so far, and now Growing Ranks is doing exactly what its namesake says, and he's going to battle with a Knight. Having 2 Vigilance Knights looks pretty good against a Cobble Brood as well. We see Vraska tick up to 5.
The ultimate on Vraska is a -7 ability to put those assassins into play.
And it's 3 of them, right?
Yep, 3 assassins that when they deal damage to a player, that player loses the game.
That's right. Now let's see what Alex can pull out of his hat of tricks here. If he can, a Pursuit of Flight would be pretty sweet here. It would be he could just kill Vraska. All right, he's going to attack Vraska and force a trade for a Knight. Let's see if he has a removal follow-up for the other Knight.
Oh, Void Wielder.
He has a Void Wielder. That is going to bounce that Knight. Uh-oh. And we see Tristani's Judgment take out the Void Wielder, creating another Knight, and the endless stream of tokens just will not stop for Yuya.
Jeez.
Again, he gets value out of that Growing Ranks.
You probably going to tick up the Vraska here after attacking?
I think he already did.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he already ticked. Yep, and he passes the turn back, and he battles with the Knight that is not summoning sick. It's going to drop Alexander Hayne down to 13 life. And you got to feel like Yuya's in a pretty good spot, although we do see...
detain one of your Knights?
Yeah, detain one of your Knights. It also will hold off the other one. It's not...
I mean, not really. I mean, he can just use Vraska to kill it, right?
That's true. He could just use Vraska to kill it if he wanted.
Vraska's on 6, so...
He's got a whole pile of tokens there, so you can see that he knows his strategy is going to involve a bunch of tokens, and it's true. He's going to drop Vraska down to 2, apparently. I thought she was already on 5, but she must have been on 4, 5, and now 2. -3 to destroy target permanent. Again, we see Yuya pressing his command here. Now he has 3 Knights. It's soon to be 4. He still has Vraska active. She is only going to be going upwards on this next turn, as he has no down abilities that he can use at the moment. Alex is tapping 6 mana. He's going to play a second Asperia's.
Alexander Hayne trying to claw his way back into this game after...
Jeez, and another Tristani's Judgment.
No wonder Yuya is 9-0. It makes perfect sense. I doubt he's lost a game.
Look how many Knights he has right here. He says, battle you for 6.
Up Vraska.
Pick Vraska up. And he has way more than lethal sitting on the battlefield right now, and Vraska is ready to go minus to destroy basically anything that Alex plays here. I'm assuming that we're going to see a concession unless there's a Mizium Mortars or something along that.
Even Mizium Mortars, Vraska is still active.
Yeah, but it's not going to kill him at least. All right, so he played
Inaction
Goblin
Injunction.
Electromancer and then followed up with a 1 mana Inaction Injunction to draw a card. Does he have a way to survive? Nope, he's going to scoop up his permanents
here. Why would Haynes show all this? I guess he wanted to draw a card.
He wanted to draw that card in case there was an out. You know, something like, Mizium Mortars at that point wasn't enough, but it certainly would have been sweet. Yeah, you're facing down an active Vraska, but remember, Vraska takes a long time to get up to
7, sure.
mana, right? And then you might have even found an answer for the tokens by then. Maybe he's got a second Staticaster, who knows? And in the meantime, sure, he can, manipulate the board pretty well, but it does buy you a bunch of time. Same thing with Street Spasm there, but he didn't have either of those spells, so really convincing fashion. I mean, the way I saw it, Alexander Hayne was playing good stuff. He was making plays that made a lot of sense.
I mean, that Staticaster was really good in the beginning of the game, right?
Yeah.
Got rid of the Pack
I
Rat.
actually forgot about that. After all the insane things that Yuya did that game, he also just led off with a turn 2 Pack Rat, which happened to get answered.
I mean, yeah, Yuya just had insane card after insane card after insane card.
He did.
And just was able to, keep his growing ranks going by continually making tokens. I think that against any other deck, Alexander Hayne would have crushed them. But the fact that Yuya just had 3 gigantic bombs and a way to protect all 3 of them just made it an easy game 1 for him.
And that was the thing that was most impressive to me, that Yuya was actually able to get his growing ranks. He was able to get a trigger on it that actually copied, or, that copied a token every single time.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
Very tough.
We saw that Alexander Hayne was very cognizant of that. He was specifically going after the tokens, trying to keep them off the board to keep that growing ranks in check. Because once it gets out of control, then your outs become very narrow, like board sweeper type effects, where if he's just got one or two, maybe you can 1-for-1 with a token, keep him off it. But he just never let up. He kept making more and more tokens. First it was going to be a Centaur, then it was going to be birds. He settled on knights, and he made a bunch of those. They eventually won him the game. Again, both players sitting at 9-0 after a very long day one here.
I don't know how you have all this energy left.
Yeah, I'm summoning it from places I have no idea about, but very, very long here. As you can see, they're 9-0. We're still on day one, and they're playing another game. What that means is that the cut has already happened. These guys are both in day two safely. They're going to be drafting tomorrow no matter what, but they wanted to play this last round so that we didn't have to play sealed in the morning and then transition over to draft. It just makes for a cleaner cut. But believe me, this match counts just like any other, and when you're making your march to the top 8, having the kind of cushion that you have when you're 10-0 going into the draft rounds is certainly important.
I mean, yeah, you just need to 2-1 both your drafts to guarantee into top 8 and perhaps even just 3-0 once, 0-3 once.
Right.
And you're in.
And, that can even change your draft strategy potentially. I mean, probably not drastically, but, drafting a 2-1 deck versus kind of going all in and hoping you just get all the populate stuff is a little bit different. Definitely changes the complexion of how things play out in the next day. I just read on our coverage site, by the way, that it looks like we've moved the time up for tomorrow. The start time is 8 a.m.
Yep.
This is in consideration of the hurricane that is actually headed towards the city currently.
Somebody will be crowned a champion.
Yeah.
Whether or not they can live to tell the tale.
Yeah, they're going to have.
We'll be here to tell the tale.
We will indeed. And so I don't know exactly what's going to happen with all that, but with the idea of being able to get everybody out of here tomorrow as soon as they can, we've bumped it up to 8 a.m. local time. Now we're on the East Coast here in Philadelphia, and we are actually underway here back in the match. Alexander Hayne has 2 lands, all 3, and he plays a Tower Drake on turn 3. Yuya Watanabe has a Drudge Beetle on turn 2, and he's just played his 3rd land. He battles with his Beetle. It doesn't look like Alex feels like trading, and he just plays a Celestia Key Rune and passes back. Alex draws his card for the turn. Fully expect attack with the Tower Drake. You don't think he has any white mana in his deck, so it's just a 2-1 flyer for 3. He's using it to beat down.
Yeah, good 2-1 flyer out of Hayne's deck.
You do what you got to do.
2-1 flyer for.
And it looks like they're trading key runes here as Alex just plays a key rune. He does have 2 mana up after that, though. All right. Yep. Beetle gets in there. And what does Yuya have?
Pack
he's
rat.
got a Pack Rat. Now, what he's
and
done
3 mana up.
Yeah, so he's waited until not turn 5, but 5 mana sources so that he can activate the Pack Rat at any time. He says, I'm going to do it during my main phase, I believe.
Is he discarding in Gerard's orders? Is that what that card is?
Yes, that is exactly what that is.
What is wrong with Yuya's deck? Who let him have it?
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I think that the Gerard's orders is probably to find his other Pack Rat. So what he wants to do here is he wants to get 2 on the table because, okay, there's an ultimate price on the first Pack Rat. This means that Izzet Stratocaster will sweep away the other if Alex has it, but we don't think he does. And
he
we're
does.
wrong.
Wow.
He does have it.
Wow. Yuya paid the ultimate price there.
He did indeed, Rich Hagen. And so we see Izzet Stratocaster and Alexander Hayne both able to take care of Pack Rat in both games. That's a lot harder than Alex made it look.
Yeah. I mean, usually you just can't deal with Pack Rat ever.
And we saw Yuya take a line of play that allowed him to have 2 2/2 Pack Rats on the same turn as opposed to having just the 1/1. But the combination of Ultimate Price and Izzet Stratocaster took care of that. So Alex has dodged that bullet, and he is still applying pressure. He took another hit from the Drudge Beetle, and now Yuya is trying to decide what he wants to do. Alex has to feel happy just to get away from that Pack Rat, though. He's faced it both games, and he's managed to overcome it. All right, so we see a thrill kill assassin for Yuya Watanabe. It is unleashed, so he's looking to beat down here. It's a 2-3 with death touch, can't block. And Alex plays his 6th land and then decides what he wants to do. Asperia Skywatch is pretty likely here. There's a few other plays he could make, though. Yeah, looks like he's going to do something else. Pay 3 mana, and he's going to stab wound.
Jeez.
Wow, that is just a total beating on that particular card.
Alexander Haynes playing this game, the plays that he's made may have been the only way that he could have won this game, right? He held his removal spells for Pack Rat.
He did not show Izzet Staticaster. Yeah, this is
He's
putting
playing
together quite a game here because
that stab wound.
Yeah.
To be able to deal a lot of damage quickly.
That's right. He says, "I'll block your Drudge Beetle."
Post combat.
All right, so post combat.
That's good. Towering Indrik.
Towering Indrik is going to hold off that Tower Drake. So one's the king of the tower, it would seem.
Thanks, Rich.
Yeah, but right back at me, huh? All right, but it looks like the combination of an Izzet Staticaster activation and
an Annihilating Fire.
An Annihilating Fire is going to clear the way for that Tower Drake. So battle mode here. He's going to be taking chunks of 4 out of Yuya's life total turn after turn here. And I got to say, the Unleashed Thrill Kill Assassin has to be one of the all-time best targets for a stab wound. It can neither attack and it can't really block and it can't block and it can't really attack and do anything here. And it's just a complete liability for Yuya at this point.
Looks like Owen Turnwald found a quick win here in round 10.
Saw him walking up with a slip.
Yep.
Big smile on his face, just the happiest guy on the planet.
I think he ended the day with only 1 loss, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yuya is carefully considering.
Yeah, only 1 loss for Owen.
Only 1 loss for Owen?
Yep.
All right, so poised as well to make a very nice run here. I got to say, though, the list of people that I've said are poised to make a nice run is getting very long.
The pods are going to be insane tomorrow.
Yeah, they're going to be nuts. The draft pods when those guys sit down are going to be just totally insane. Friend of yours also walks by with a smile and the shake of the result slip.
So Yuya thinking here what he can do to get out of this jam. Already at 8 life.
Yeah, he's basically on a 2-turn clock as the board sits. He's got to find a way to either deal with the Drake or deal with the stab wound, and eventually he's going to have to deal with both.
Yeah, he thought that Towering Indrik was going to do it all, but Annihilating Fire in the Staticaster. Growing Ranks will start things off.
But Growing Ranks is really going to do nothing here.
Well, unless if you've got like a Selesnya Charm.
Okay.
Eyes in the Sky does not do too much.
I mean, it certainly helps versus the Tower Drake.
Well, I mean, not with Staticaster in play.
Oh, yeah, true. Certainly does absolutely nothing, as you just said. All right, so Alexander Hayne does not have black mana to activate that Rakdos Key Rune, so that thing's not going to be swinging in. And he's making sure to point at the card during the upkeep. He doesn't want anything. And he says, with that on the stack, I'm going to Annihilating Fire target you. And he finishes off Yuya to equalize this match at 1-1.
Alexander Hayne, ladies and gentlemen.
You see that little smirk? He had it all planned out. It came together for him, and he earned the win there.
He just needs to dodge Pack Rat again. And all the other insane cards in Yuya's deck. That won't be hard, right?
Luke on the left there with his neon green watch.
Well, more importantly, he's sporting a Helvetica T-shirt. You like that T-shirt?
That is a font T-shirt.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it.
One of my
he went to the college I graduated from.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Where was that?
Brandeis University in Boston. He graduated like 6 years before me, but
yeah, he's a lawyer now. He lives in New York.
But was surprised to learn that anybody who played Magic had ever graduated from my university. But
why? Smart people play Magic.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll take that as a compliment.
It was. It's exactly what it was.
So players are going to their sideboard.
Yeah, going to the board here. So it was interesting because in that game we saw that Yuya had to play Growing Ranks there, and he just left 1 mana up. You know, he was not able to get the token thing going that time, and growing
No.
ranks certainly was unimpressive when he really needed an answer to something on the
Well,
board.
it came just so late, you know? Like,
he just ended up being
growing ranks
forced
is
to play it.
really awesome on turn 4 when you already have a token in play, as we saw you do
Yeah.
in game 1. But when you play it on turn 8, when you're already dead on board, I mean,
Right.
it's not going to help you very
You know,
much.
and that's the downside to a card like that. It's really good when it's really good, but when it's bad, it's bad. You know, you take a card like Stab Wound, it's just never bad, right? You take a card like Drudge Beetle, it's just never really that bad. It's unexciting at some point, but you can always play it and just do something to the board. Growing ranks falls into a different category where
It's only good if you have a lot of cards that
Yeah.
you can populate.
and then it's fantastic.
Yeah, like we saw game 1.
Right, but when it's not, it's kind of this home run strikeout type situation there, and in that situation, it happened to be a strikeout. He would have, preferred almost anything over it. I think at that
Well,
moment.
not a
but
land, but
a non-land, right? Who do you like in this matchup? After Yuya,
I mean,
after-
Yuya's deck's amazing.
yeah, Yuya's deck is just insane.
If Alexander Hayne can fade all those cards, then I give him the advantage. But I don't think the odds are with him.
I see Chris from Twitter says that he thinks Yuya's block deck is pretty good. And then he's like, wait a minute. I don't know if I'd go that far, but yeah, his deck is clearly very strong.
Looks like Shuhei has won round 10.
So, do you know where that puts him
I
record-wise?
believe he has 2 losses.
Okay.
He started off 0-2 and then won, or he started off 2-2 and then has won ever since.
Okay.
2-0, 0-2, and then 3-0.
All right.
Battled back.
All right. Players are taking a look at their opening sevens here.
Okay.
And it looks like they've both kept. Yuya Watanabe leads with the Swamp, and we just see a Rakdos Guildgate on Alexander's side. And again, a turn 2 pack
Does
rat.
he have 2 pack rats or something?
How many times can he do this?
Oh,
And
is it charm?
again,
Alex Hayne
Alexander
has an
Hayne
answer. Just
finds
peels it
the
off.
Answer.
No big deal.
Wow. Every single time. I mean,
I just want to see you play another pack rat here. That will make my day. And pack rat go.
that looks like it's a 3-mana pack rat. Nope. It's just going to be Celestia Kirun. I don't blame Yuya for running those out there. That is the best way to do it because it's so hard to find an answer, and Alex has just had it every single time.
Rick's Mahdi Guildmage. Does you have another pack rat here? Could it be?
He does have the 5 mana. No, this is another 3. It looks like it's a Centaur healer.
You gains 3, goes to 23 life.
Rick's Muddy Guildmage not optimized in Alex's deck. We haven't seen that many black mana sources out of his deck. Still pretty good, though. You think he's going to attack and offer the trade?
I doubt it. I mean,
It
I
seems
can't
like
imagine.
a poor trade for Alex.
Yeah, I can't imagine a situation where Alex wants to trade off his Guildmage. It's one of the more powerful
And
cards in his deck.
turn.
Yeah, yeah, that too. Guildmage, 2 mana, my turn. I'll get your 3/3. That's just like every other 3/3.
Right, at this point.
It's actually probably one of the worst 3/3 Yuya has, because if it were a token, he could populate.
That's right.
If it were like a Centaur's Caller, never mind.
Herald.
Herald, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yuya Watanabe, of course, most recently won Grand Prix Manila back in June. I was at that event.
Oh, here we go. Pursuit of Flight is going to increase the clock here and really start putting the beats down in chunks of 4 on Yuya. This is a risky play by Alex. He must have not had anything else to do because we know that Yuya's on 5 lands and has, at least 2 Tristani's Judgments in hand?
Well, it looks
Or
like
not
he's
in
going
hand,
to
excuse
block
me.
and cast Golgari Charm
Oh, so it looks like Alex did not give him flying.
and destroy the Pursuit of Flight.
Destroy the Pursuit of Flight and then eat the Rick's Mighty Guildmage. Alex did have a follow-up play with the Frostburn Weird.
That's why he didn't want to give it flying, because he wanted to cast the Frostburn Weird.
Huh.
But he allowed himself to get 2 for 1. Wow,
He
this is
did.
an
That is
exciting
a tough
match.
decision point right there, though, because ostensibly that thing's going to get in there, but it
I mean, there
didn't.
aren't very many answers in black and green at 2 mana. I guess a pump spell like Giant Growth.
Yep.
But there's no black. I guess ultimate price.
Yeah.
But he can't ultimate price Rick's Monte Guild.
That's right. That doesn't work on that. So, yeah, the very few answers. So it looks like Yuya's turn 6 play here is, or 5. Oh, there's a volatile rig. Now, we've seen Alexander Hayne use that to great effect earlier, and looks like Yuya says, sure, I'll call up a Herald, or I'll call up a Centaur. There he is. So 2 Centaurs. One of them can be populated. The other cannot. So does Yuya have an answer for the rig? Does he even want to answer the rig?
Well, I mean, it's going to be tough to attack here, but...
Yeah, the rig is going to take 1 turn off from attacking, but after that it's going to attack every turn as it must.
Yep.
And then coins start flipping.
It's very volatile.
It is extremely volatile.
Anything could happen.
Well, I mean, even
like
on
the
this board
hurricane.
state, it is, volatile rig is Hurricane Sandy. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Whenever it takes damage, you flip a coin. If you lose the flip, you have to sacrifice the rig. Then you flip a coin again when it goes to the graveyard from the battlefield, aka it dies. All right, that looks like Gerard's orders.
Are we going to find a pack rat?
See if there is a second one. Anyway, and then if you lose the flip, then it does 4 damage to each creature and each player, which is a massive effect on the board, it turns out. All right,
You got to
so
be kidding me.
1 in the yard and 1 in his hand. What is he getting?
Is that you've got to be kidding me.
I think he's getting a Drudge Beetle to pitch away. But what is he putting in his hand?
I think that's a pack rat.
Is it really?
Okay, is that a dagger drone imp? Or a pack rat? I can't tell.
I think it might be a Sewer Shambler. What is that?
We'll see in just a second. Yeah, maybe it is a Sewer Shambler.
All right, cut the deck.
Oh, it is a Sewer Shambler. Okay.
Okay, so he puts that in the yard, even though... so I guess he just really wants to make a play this turn.
Maybe he wants to scavenge if he's got a land. I'm not sure.
He might. That would make the...
No.
He's just going to play the... So what this does is it gives him a lot of resilience against if that volatile rig does, in fact, blow up the world. Any creature that Yuya gets is going to have... It can have 2 scavenge abilities sort of in the tank.
Volatile rig must and will get in there. Let's see how Yuya chooses to block.
So he can double block with the Centaurs. That would guarantee, or not guarantee, but that would at least combat-wise guarantee that the volatile rig will die, but then he could just lose the rest of his board anyway. There's no saving the Frostburn Weird. Its ability only goes in one direction, +1, -1. This is a tough decision. Volatile Rig makes things very interesting. I think he's just going to take it. He is at 23. I mean, it's not like he's in a dire life total situation, and that rig is just going to keep bashing in there, but Yuya can just race. All right, Crosstown Courier.
That seems like not a great card
For
now.
it is certainly not great, although at least it does trade for the Drudge Beetle.
But it's even worse against Yuya's deck because if it might mill a scavenge card, right?
Yeah, that's true. All right, Yuya says, how many coins do I have to flip here?
So Yuya will bash in with his pair of 3/3s.
And he's just going to leave the Beetle back. He doesn't want to give Alex the opportunity to trade, apparently. He'd rather prevent the damage and trade if Alex wants to. All right, so Alex says, you know what, I'm going to double block your token. That's going to deal 3 damage to it. You're only going to get to take out my Crosstown Courier, so I'll make that trade. Crosstown Courier for token seems good. If something bad happens to the Crosstown Courier, all right, Tristani's Judgment. Now that exiles.
It does not kill, yeah. But I think Hayne is going to pump up his Frostburn Weird. Or, no, he's got Annihilating Fire for the token.
For the token.
So
all right.
no populate.
So no populate, and both of his creatures survive, but the Centaur healer does get in there for 3 to start the chain of damage. Now, Alex, I believe, only has 2 cards left in his hand. He's sitting at 17. He's 9-0 today here at Grand Prix Philadelphia. This is technically the first day, but this is the second day. This is the competition-wise, this is day 2.
the bonus round, if you will.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yuya Watanabe, he is sitting at 9-0 as well. And it looks like Alex says, yeah, pump, pump, pump. Let's get some damage in there.
Yuya drops to 15 and a cackler for Alexander Hayne. Oh, I see a Selesnya charm in Yuya's hand.
This is not a super impressive cackler necessarily. Yuya has to decide if he wants to hold back and block or if he's going to start battling. Remember, he does have that Selesnya key rune down there too. So, like, if he wanted here, he could potentially take 6 life off of Alexander Haynes' total, which is a pretty reasonable chunk. But he doesn't. He's going to play a 5-5 slime molding instead. Now, if he can start populating those, this game is going to be over very quickly.
5-5, it seems tough for Yuya to deal with.
Yep, and Yuya does go ahead and attack now.
Just for Hayne to deal with.
Yeah, no blocks available. And he's got a pretty nice blocker there with a 5-5, so Alex is going to have a hard time attacking. Oh, but he's got an Asperia Skywatch. That's going to detain the ooze, and it's going to mean that Yuya takes 3 and drops down to 12 here. Now that Alex is tapped out, this is a pretty sweet time, you know, for like a Tristani's Judgment or something along those lines.
So it looks like Scavenge is going to happen, maybe? Scavenge onto the Centaur Healer.
Yep, that's going to be the Sewer Shambler. It's going to make it into a 5-5, so he's got a pair of 5-5s, but it looks like he's only going to attack with one of them.
His last card, I believe, is Selesnya Charm.
All right. Little suspicious there that he didn't activate his key rune in attack. I'm sure Alex noticed that.
I mean, it's got to be a tip-off for the Selesnya Charm.
And Yuya's going to drop down to 9. And Alex just has to pass the turn back.
Wow, quite the race here. If Alex has the Lava Axe here, Yuya might be in a little bit of trouble.
That's
Explosive impact.
Yep. And it looks like Yuya says, kill you?
Yeah, I'll
Chump block to stay alive. That drops Alex all the way down to 4.
post-combat.
Yuya play.
Wow.
Oh, a Towering Indrik. Towering Indrik is going to do a lot of work here.
Does Hayne have an answer for it?
Even if he does, what is he going to do? He's not like he can attack.
Well, he is going to attack.
I mean, he's going to attack with both of these, but all right, so activate my key rune. Block, block.
And that's the match.
Alexander Hayne extends the hand.
Yuya Watanabe finishes the day at 10-0.
Look at this guy. He's a machine.
Unstoppable.
Yeah,
Second place of the Pro Tour. Undefeated after day 1 here at Grand Prix Philadelphia.
Yep.
Wow, what a day.
He also is the